Okay, this is the first time that I actually have problems or have issues with doing a video. This is something pretty personal. It seems like my brain has froze. Now, this actually happened in a lot of things. It happened in a lot of sports. The latest one is about gymnastic, and it's called Twisties. Yes, all our brain, once in a lifetime, or when it is in much of pressure or too much information, it kind of froze. So it's kind of weird. But anyway, because I have, this is a really major discovery. Because of the one to tent, I have made many discoveries that I can't even explain. And I'm going to give you a brief thing about it. The Earth. The Earth, as everybody knows, that the Earth gives us life. But the funny thing is actually taking our life slowly. It is amazing as it seems. The Earth actually gives us life. Yep. But it's actually taking us our lives slowly. Now, 2, radiation. The sun's radiation also gives us life. But it is also killing us all slowly. 3, radiation and death. Now, there's something that I said that one time. Radiation. We cannot live without it, but we cannot live with it. The very thing that keeping us all alive, also the very thing that will eventually kill all of us. And that's how we die. When we die, it's because we aren't able to hold or harness radiation. Remember this word. I always use hold and harness radiation. And yes, even if you are healthy, your heart eventually will stop pumping. The question is why? I'll leave that one as that. 4, finally, I can actually explain and actually show you how sensitivity or EMF sensitivity really works. As I stated in many videos, scientists, doctors, and physicists, they are wrong about EMF sensitivities. I'll leave that one at that. Now, adding on to that is the Earth and the Sun actually contribute to our EMF sensitivity. Now remember, I always stated in many videos, EMF sensitivity does not exist. They coined that word, so I'm just using it. Okay? Number 5. Claustrophobia. Claustrophobia. It's actually a cause. The 1 to 10. Yes, the 1 to 10 will prove that is a cause. Okay? Now, number 6. How and why erectile dysfunction really happens. Yes, and the 1 to 10 again, and the 1 to bracelet will actually help you to understand this one. And yes, by regulating and learn how to regulate, people who are EMF sensitivity or EMF sensitive actually face this problem a lot. Baldness or losing hair, gray hair, EMF sensitivity. Those are all contribute to erectile dysfunction. And yes, I can explain that one too. Now this is 7. Why do or how do we have hard-ons? Believe it or not, no one in human history actually can explain why or even how. The Wonder Bracelet will teach you that. And yes, I can explain it to you how and why. Because it's related to number 6, which is how and why erectile dysfunction happens. Okay, now number 8, arthritis. Remember, I said about arthritis, that arthritis does not happen, or it is not a medical condition. Scientists, physicists, doctors, they are all wrong. How arthritis actually happens. And yes, the Wonder Tent, the Wonder Bracelet, and everything else that I am going to introduce to the world will prove that. That arthritis does not exist. Arthritis is a cause. Remember that. Okay? Now, number 9. I discovered that the human breathe, but another form of breathing, but not air. Scientists and doctors, they do not understand this yet, and they will. Remember, they will. That we are breathing. There's a second, or actually first breathing, air. Remember, air doesn't count, okay? This is another form of breathing, and yes, the Wonder Tent will teach you that. Number 10, internal allergies. Yes, there is something called internal allergies that scientists and doctors yet understand or understood. They will. Ha. Okay, so we got on to number 11, sounds, hearing, and something called tinnitus. Tinnitus, people will actually need to discharge in order to ease. Remember this. Tinnitus can't not be cured. A lot of people are hunting for it, and a lot of people trying to cure it. There's one thing about tinnitus that I understood so far. It cannot be cured. Why? Our body actually create the noise that we actually hear. And yes, I said many times about tinnitus. Tinnitus is a cause as well. And it's also the earth. Electromagnetic field is what causing it. And the Wonder Tent will actually prove that even further. Now, number 12. This is going to be a great discovery. Monochrome. As the world knows about colors, but this is very important about colors. I actually made a discovery of monochrome. Monochrome, as you already know, is a 256 shade of gray. Well, no one actually understood how monochrome happened in this lifetime. Here's a funny thing. When they invented the TV, the black and white TV, they should, or they would have understood this thing. They couldn't. Now I can actually explain that our world is also in color, but our world is also in monochrome. The whole universe is in color, and the whole universe is in monochrome. And that's how it happens. Yep. 13. The universe actually have an edge. The universe was actually made in motion, but not born. They think it was born. No, it actually made in motions. As I see this, as I start seeing a bigger picture, the universe was made in motion. Space is not infinity. Space is created, or space is not infinite or unlimited. Actually, we do have an edge, and we do have limited of space. It's just so vast. The space is so vast that we think it's infinity. No, it is not. It isn't. Because space is being created. Yes. And there is something called nothing. We go to number 14. There are actually multiverse, and it can exist easily. Here's one thing that people always think about and always question. Can we actually get to another universe or another multiverse? No. The answer is no. Unless they are joined. Meaning, if one bubble is separate from another bubble, we cannot pass through that bubble because there's something called nothing. Yes. Because we cannot move through something called nothing, we cannot enter another universe. Yup. Because our universe or our bubble actually have an edge. And that's why we cannot go to another one unless we are merged together or merging. And probably there is. There are a lot of universe actually merging. Now, here's something really funny. Number 14. There's something really funny. There is actually something called nothing. Yes. In order for something to be validated, nothing has to exist. And in order for nothing to exist, to validate something, something has to exist. They're like off and on. Like nothing is off and something is on. Yep. As weird as it seems, that's how it works. 16. Light particles. Now, in the light particles, I talk about how we use about 550 nanometers to about 575 nanometers. Those are the safe zones. And it's in a rainbow itself. I talk about this in a rainbow. And those are the light particles. And that's why our life, or our earth, or most things, have you noticed? Plants are green. Wonder why, right? Well, the light particles, and also too, UV light. Yes, UV light is the low form. And I stated many times, our body cannot use those. So blue light and UV light, we have to actually block that. We have to learn to block that. And they did have some products out there that actually block these, but yet to be understood. I can explain that. Number 17, hair. The importance of hair and fur finally will be understood. Number 18, fabrics and material that we wear each day. It can actually help us. It can actually heal us too. But also at the same time, it can actually harm us. The 1 to 10 will prove that clothing can actually heal you. Clothing can actually help you. But at the same time, clothing can actually hurt you, and it's actually killing you slowly. I talk about jewelry. I talk about metals. Here's the funny thing is about jewelries and metals. It actually can heal you. It actually can help you. But at the same time, it actually can harm us or kill you slowly. And yes, I've made that video way back then, but I'm going to explain this even further because the 1 to 10 will prove that. A lot of arguments about salt lamp. Finally, I'm able to understood this. And I actually will and can explain that salt lamp does work. Okay? And I can actually explain how do they work as well. And why do they work? No one in history can actually understand that yet. And yes, I will explain all that. Now, there are a few more of other irrelevant things, and there are a few more other things that I explain, or I have discovered. Not as irrelevant, and some are even better than these, which I'm going to keep it for a little while. So far, there's a lot of discoveries going on in here. And my brain, like I said, my brain somehow just froze. I don't know why. I do not know why. Although, I have written all these things down. And yes, I can explain to you. I can explain it all. But I don't know how to put it in a video. And yes, I wanted to make this in a video. So that way, people can learn from it. Not only that, I have it on record that I am the one that made these discoveries. Although, it might be irrelevant to a lot of people, or to some of the scientists that will not going to believe that someone like me can actually discover things and a lot more. But at this time, currently, I don't know why, my brain just froze. I think because there's too much information that I have to put together. So I just want you to know that bear with me while I'm trying to work this out. That's why you haven't seen any upload. You haven't seen any upload because of that reason. Because there's too much information. I have discovered something that can explain a lot of things. And if you watch this video again, you will understand that I hold so much information that my brain finally froze. Now, that's the first time that something ever happens. Of course, there are things like this all the time. It happens in everything. Even it happens to people who actually work. Yep. Eventually, the brain will stop and the brain will no longer tell the body to work. It is amazing as it sounds. It's crazy as it sounds. But that's how the brain or the human body or the human brain works. So, I'm going to take a little bit of time, and I'm going to take it easy while I'm trying to put this all together. But at the same time, I just want to know that I just want you to know that I actually made more discoveries. And because of the Wonder 10, because of the Wonder Rays, and because of the Wonder Bracelets. All these, of course, I'm going to tie them all together. As you already know, as everybody knows. But currently, I just want to let you know that my brain is on a hold right now. Okay? So bear with me while I try to work all these things out, and then I will release the videos. Other than that, that's about it on this video. I will see you in the next video.